was looking for the countdown banner, but we did not get that tonight because the internet in the studio was acting up. The Heartbeat of the South got some problems with his camera. The
Yeah.
studio had some problems with it. It's a link. And we were on live location last night broadcasting. That was our first experience taking our equipment outside. And we did have to make some audio changes and some changes in the studio. So I guess they were just still stuck on there and stuff got
Okay.
turned around. But anyhow, we're here now, everybody. So
Sure.
I'm
Yes,
going to share the show, see what we got in
we
the
are.
audience. Somebody's in here. Let's go to chat. Oh, that's me. Oh, okay. I don't know how mine got in there. See, I didn't put that in there. I'm getting ready to put something in here now from the studio. But mine was already up there. Hello, welcome to the show. Thanks for watching. I guess that's something automatic the studio has put in there. All
Okay.
right, so here we go. The Emily Pearl Show. Hello and welcome. We are broadcasting live from Memphis, Tennessee. And so we're going to do a little chit chat catching up. Our guest is already in the studio. And so he'll get to hear what we've been doing while I share the
Mhm.
show. Okay. All right, then. We're live. I'm going to share. Tim, Heartbeat of the South, my every heartbeat. What have you been doing since the last time I saw you?
Well, nothing other than doing the down home blues last night.
Did you
Yeah,
have fun?
yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it was something new for you because you've actually never done any of our live locations.
That's right,
Yeah, because you weren't in broadcasting then.
right.
So, yeah. So, you got out. Well, I tell you what, you did look great on the
Thank you.
scene. And
So did you.
yeah, everybody was uh, toot toot hoot hoot for you.
Yeah.
All right, Silver, you was out there with us last night. What happened?
It was a great night, and I was honored to be able to go on stage and do some comedy and share some songs for Judge Joe Brown's all natural, delicious barbecue sauce, and
Mm-hmm.
he's campaigning to be the next mayor of Memphis, and then of course I sang my famous song, "The Pothole Blues," and did a little comedy, so that was fun, and I got uh, invited people to purchase bottles of his Judge Joe Brown's barbecue sauce, and they was very generous in stepping forward and purchasing bottles. You got one, and I think Tim
I
and
did.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Richard Self got one. He's freelance video one. He's our videographer, and so I'm looking forward to trying it myself. Wait till I get a little barbecue go with it.
I'm
Put
going
the
to
sauce on it.
yeah, I took out my other half a slab of baby back ribs because it's just one of me. So when I buy a slab of baby back ribs, I cut it in half and I prepare one half and then I put the other half in the freezer for the next time that I have a taste for some BBQ. And I just pulled them out this evening, this afternoon, and letting them thaw out. So tomorrow, I'm gonna put them on so I can get a chance to see how well that barbecue sauce tastes, and
Wow,
then
great.
and then I'll be able to bag it up.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah,
okay,
so,
so we all had a wonderful time, and then
yeah, we
I saw
did.
a I saw a little clip of a video with Judge Joe Brown cutting the rug dancing.
Oh, that was after we left, probably,
That's
huh?
correct. Uh huh.
Oh, okay, all
Everyone had a
right.
good time, and they enjoyed the fact that you was broadcasting live Pearl's politics right there on the premises.
Yeah, they did enjoy us. I really like that place. It's called the Rocking Chair now. So I
I
think
did
that
too.
And we're gonna try to make a connection, and when we try to get our um what is it? It'll be 11-year anniversary in March.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe we
we can
maybe we
utilize
can
that.
have it there. Yeah, I think
And
that'll be
something you
great.
don't know, Emily,
What?
you're not aware. You're not aware of this. They had, of course, the nice front entrance with the stage, but
Mm-hmm.
down the hall they have a whole new big. I mean, they have a big room in addition,
Yeah.
big private room.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That'd be great. Well, we probably would want the private room. I like it the way it was because we got to have a DJ.
Well, of course, DJ can go in the private room too.
Is it really huge?
It's good. It's bigger than where y'all was sitting at.
It's bigger than the whole place where the bar
Well,
is.
I wouldn't say it's bigger than the whole place. It's just a great big old room, and you could utilize more people in it. That's where you was broadcasting, and the little tables up front, and then there's a few little tables in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of limits the amount of people. Well, whereas that back room back there is just all open with tables and chairs, and it will hold more people. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
All right then. So Kathy,
All right. I'm just
sometime then you'll go up there and look at it.
okay. I'm just getting used to I'm just getting used to the hot weather right now, and there's a fire actually about 5 miles from us in Pinos Altos. So, and it's
Oh
consuming
wow!
about 200, 300 acres. But this kind of thing happens in New Mexico. So, but other than that, everything's great. It hasn't, come close to me, and no structures were damaged. So, I'm just looking.
Great.
I'm just looking forward to announcing and introducing Ronnie Mack, of course.
And I want you to do that right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I know Ronnie Mack from the LA area, and in the 90s, I mean, he is absolutely huge as far as the Palomino goes and putting on showcases. So Ronnie Mack made a name for himself as a savior of sorts on the Los Angeles County country and roots music circuit. He's a native of Baltimore,
Wow.
or not. And from an early age, he was impressed by the guitar. So both of his grandfathers were musical, and they gave him a guitar when he was 3 years old. And we were discussing that, Ronnie, right? That you were 3 and you entered a competition, which was amazing. So can you just talk to us and let us know about your roots?
Well, yeah, it's probably 4 actually, but
Okay.
my grandfathers would, especially on my father's side, would buy me toy instruments, and I had like a little drum kit. I had an accordion and a saxophone and a guitar, and it came with a chord book. So even at that age, I had the diagrams of all the basic major and minor chords. So even at that age, I learned all the basic major and minor chords. I haven't learned any since, but so I remember I was really into what was getting played on the radio back at that time. So we're talking like late 50s, early 60s and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, it was like
Great music, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Elvis to Chuck Berry to Buddy Holly to and then doo-wop groups. The Penguins, Earth Angel, and the Five Satins with the Still Night. All that kind of stuff was what I grew up with. And right into the early 60s when you had like the Shirelles and the Chubby Checker pop rock, in 1962. And, groups like the Drifters and all those groups like that. And, of course, Elvis. And radio, top 40 radio back in those days was very diverse. I mean, you could have every – now it's all like – like this station plays this kind of music, this station plays that kind of music. So you could have like 1962, you could have Elvis or the Shirelles or whoever was with that Chubby Checker. And then you could have Walter Brennan. Now, I don't know how many of you remember. Walter Brennan was
I do.
Real McCoys. He played Grandpa McCoy. He was a ton.
Yeah.
He was in tons.
Yeah.
Was it Grandpa Amos?
That's great.
Grandpa McCoy. And that was Walter Brennan.
McCoy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But wasn't his first name Amos?
Walter. I mean, no. Yeah, Walter Brennan was his name.
Yeah,
Now,
that's his real name, but on the
Yeah.
show,
Stage
wasn't it?
name.
Grandpa Amos.
Amos McCoy.
Yeah.
Grandpa
You got it.
McCoy
You're
on
right,
the Real
Grandpa
McCoy,
Amos.
the situation
It's-
comedy television show.
Yes, yeah,
But
yeah,
he
his
put
acting
out a
name.
record, you know, in between Elvis, the Chubby Checkers, the Twist, and whatever else was going on at that time, the Shrells and things that were getting played. And it was a narration type of thing that he was like 80 years old at the time. And it was about a guy named Old Rivers and his mule. And it was like, I'll say a little bit like he talked. Anybody goes back to will know this. He sounded, now, one of these days I'm going to climb that mountain, walk up there among them clouds where the cotton's high and the corn's growing. There ain't no fields to plow. You know, he was 80 years old, and it was a narration to beautiful music. But he could get played right in between, rock and roll stuff. Then Tony Bennett in 1962 has "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." So it was all this.
Oh, it's my song.
Yeah.
I left my heart
So,
in San Francisco.
styles of music that was played, and it went into the 70s, really. You know, I mean, you could have Linda Ronstadt on Top 40 Radio in 1975 doing, and then you could have disco. You have Donna Summer doing disco. Then you have Willie Nelson doing On the Road Again.
Yeah.
That's how diverse Top 40
Look at my big old baby doll. She heard me singing.
A lot of variety.
That's
And
cute.
And everybody was great, talented, and they had their own style.
That's right. That's right.
It was more, Ronnie, would you say it's more of a family? It was kind of more like family entertainment.
Yeah. And everybody supported everybody else and stuff like that. And, I know what country music, part of the reason I started the Barn Dance, it started January of 1988, we went for 25 years, was because back in the 70s, the big record companies and big radio stations decided that we want to get people that don't like country music to listen to country radio. It's the most logical thing to do. They put out stuff that doesn't sound much like country music, but they still call it that.
Right.
What it is now, the stuff they play on is fraudulently being pawned off as country radio. It's an insult to American musical culture to even be called.
Yeah, I don't like it as well as I do traditional country.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what our show was about, was traditional country, rockabilly, which is like early Elvis and Buddy Holly and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And blues. We used to have we had Screaming Jay Hawkins on our show. Remember, I Put a Spell on You, and we'd have him on. And
oh yeah, I like that too.
they wheel him out on stage in a coffin. That was this thing that the lid would come up and he would lift up.
I remember that. Yeah, that part was in a movie. Didn't he sing?
Probably.
And play that? I saw that in an old movie. Yeah.
And we had a Big J McNeely. He was a long-time good friend of mine that just died a couple of years ago. He went till 91. And he was known as the king of the rhythm and blues honking sax. And he had his first hit record in 1949 called Deacon's Hop. He was originally playing jazz, but they saw to play more rhythm and blues, kind of like rock and roll, but it wasn't called rock and roll yet until like about 1951. It was just rhythm and blues. Rock and roll is just rhythm and blues. But he just went on. He had a big hit called "There Was Something on Your Mind," and so we have him on. So we were like bringing up.
Well, there's something on your mind.
Yeah, there is something
on your mind.
When you look at me. Yeah.
That's my song now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was a sweetheart of a guy too. And he would, he laid down on his back with a saxophone, kick his legs up in the air. He'd walk to the club and sit down on the ladies' laps and stuff and blow his horn. It's like the girls love him to death.
Yes, I sure did.
He played right up until he died at 91. He had prostate cancer.
Really?
He played till he was like about 90.
And his music lives on.
Yeah, he had to sit down to play by then, but still he could play. He sang and played good. He was funny, So,
and his music lives on today because I heard that just recently.
Oh yeah.
There's this old station here in Memphis that play all of the oldest like that from the 60s and 50s.
Yeah, that's right. That's why.
And I actually just heard that about a couple of weeks ago riding in my car. And I was like, oh my God, I turned my radio up to the blast full max.
But yeah, it's our feeling is we're not saying that It goes back to 1975 with the Country Music Association Awards, CMA Awards.
Okay.
Olivia Newton-John won Record of the Year for
Yeah.
country music. So, and people went, "What's that all about?" Nothing against Olivia Newton-John. She's a wonderful singer. She's from
I
Australia.
like that Newton-John too.
A wonderful person, an actress in Greece and everything like that. But
Yeah.
people, well, this is a one-off mistake. But then it's
rock and roll started hitting about that.
They all started diluting it and watering it down to sound more pop-oriented and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, even Dolly Parton, 9 to 5, and said,
yeah, they kind of rocked it up a bit.
Here we come again. Da, 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 da. There's nothing. There's a jingle.
Right. Yeah.
Radio, Conway Twitty. All these people say, well, if we're going to get played on the radio, we have to hang our
got to change
recording session and do this pop.
Yeah.
And
they had to make a living, they had to do what they had to do.
Eddie Arnold said, "Hey, I want to get on the radio," but they were already millionaires by that time anyway. But
they never get tired of making money, you know that.
Yeah, we're not saying it's bad music, that the artists that do this stuff, anything wrong with them. We're just saying if your idea is to make it sound more pop, if you make it sound more easy listening pop, sound more rock, sound more pop rock. Now they're putting out hip hop and rap and stuff. We're not saying there's anything wrong with their styles of music. We're just saying don't call it country music. If your intention is to make it sound like those styles of music, then call it what it is.
I just found out what my problem was. My headset volume was turned all the way down. I had to get that in there. Now I can hear everybody just fine.
I'm glad you realized that. Hi, Sandra.
I'll do a pun then. I don't know if you heard, but Ronnie Mack was at Graceland. Can you talk to us
you
about
told
that?
me. Yeah,
And
tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a real friend of mine, Dale Watson. And he used to be the lead guitar player in my barn dance house band, going back to the Palomino days for about 3 years. And then he moved and he got signed record deal and stuff. But then he started putting out about 10 or 11 years ago something called the Ameripolitan Country Music Awards, which again meant alternative country. Not the stuff that gets played on the radio. And like Western Swing, like Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, there's a lot of young acts that are doing all that kind of music. It goes back to the 40s and 50s. They're out there, it's being done. There's new songs being written in those styles. It just ain't get played on the radio. It's like a podcast show or maybe a college radio station has a show that specializes, but it's not going to get played on a $50,000 radio station.
Yeah.
But that's what it was all about. So they asked me if I stopped doing a barn dance 10 years ago. We went 25.
Did you? Okay.
And they asked me if I would do one to kick off the Ameripolitan Country Music Awards weekend, starting on Thursday through Sunday. So I did. We did a Hank Williams birthday tribute. It was packed.
Yeah, that's right. I've got a video that I'm supposed to play, aren't I?
Yeah, I
believe it. I believe I did.
But then I also
believe I downloaded it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find it. And what we'll do is I would take a break, a couple of commercial breaks, and while we're breaking, I'm gonna see if I can find it. And if not, I'll keep looking, and Kathy will come back and just keep interviewing, okay, until I find it.
Thanks.
All right, y'all stay. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Need to get your windshield fixed? SafeLight makes it easy. You can schedule it in just a few clicks, and we'll come to you with a replacement you can trust.
It's great.
That service on your time. Schedule now.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Need to get your windshield fixed? SafeLight makes it easy. You can schedule it in just a few clicks, and we'll come to you with a replacement.
Love is bigger than ever. The 3-row Subaru Ascent. Dog tested, dog approved. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
All right, y'all, we're back, and my computer is kind of freezing. It's slow. They had five AT&T trucks, and wait a minute, it was two AT&T trucks and three Memphis, I guess, and water trucks on the street directly in front of my house. So I know that there's something wrong going on in this area with our internet, because we had some communities in the city that was that just got their power back on yesterday, and apparently some of them didn't get it back until today. But thank God it was me, and they missed me. Oh, what I want to tell y'all right quick is that Omaha Steaks got a really summer special on right now. They've got some packages that you can get with for $29. I'm talking like even the New York strip, T-bone, uh, like a New York strip. Of course, it's only two big steaks, because you know how large they are. And yeah, for like $29 as long as you buy another item. So listen, they got a lot of that going on right now. So make sure that you go check out Omaha Steaks. All you have to do is go to the link right there, the scrolling on our ticker tape at the bottom of our screen for all of our partner deals. Go to wlo.link/ at Emily Pearls. That's all you gotta do. All right. Bringing everybody back into the studio now. They might come in slowly, but I did find the video, and I'm gonna try to play it. And I'm hoping that it will do okay. But what I'm going to do is actually, you guys are in the studio, but I'm gonna take y'all back out of the studio and just bring up the video and see if it'll do well on its own. Okay. All right, so taking you guys back out one by one so we don't suck up all the the bandwidth. I got to keep me talking, keep me on there. Then when it starts, who else I got to take off? I got to take out. Oh, I got to take off our guest and Sybil. Okay, got to take you out, Mac. I'll be back. All right, so now let's see if we can share this, and then it will hopefully share well on its own. It's a heads up. Yes, I know. I'm hoping that I got enough power to do this. Okay. I'm working with it and letting it spread out. It don't look like it's going to be too successful, but it might. I'm going to do the entire screen with the sound. All right. Let's see if we can get it into the studio. Hopefully it'll be coming up in here. I'm scrolling. Yeah, I wanted to stay in here to talk to you guys so that it's loading so I can give you the progress. Okay. All right, there we go. Let's see what we got.
Change the lock on my phone. I change the kind of car I drive. I change the kind of
always had of 20th century kind of expressionism.
Oh, Nancy Peppers.
Hmm. Mm. Having technical difficulties, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Kathy, can you hear me? Yeah, but there's no volume.
Yeah,
Tim, I heard.
I can hear
I
you say that.
of course, but we can't. I can't hear Kathy. Can you?
No, I can't. I don't know. We're just having technical difficulties right now.
Yeah, I can't hear Kathy either. The whole video thing that you just played, I didn't hear any of that. It was just all.
I
No,
didn't see any of it.
I didn't.
Anyway, Ronnie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't hear
Well,
Kathy.
we can, yeah, we can continue on. Tim, go ahead and you can talk to Ronnie. And Ronnie, can you tell us about the before you ask any questions, Tim? You want to tell us about your first Tuesday of the month, Ronnie Mack's barn dance? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's what the video was about that you were just running it. We didn't see it was called First Tuesdays in Ronnie Mack's Barn Dance. It came out like very end of 2006, and it was a documentary on the barn dance. And Dwight Yoakam was on it. He was interviewed for it, and a whole lot of Rosie Flores James, and a lot of the big people that are on that kind of roots. Now it's called Americana scene and stuff. And but yeah, I started showing January of 1988. It's called Ronnie Mack's Barn Dance. So we started out a little club called Little Nashville in up by North Hollywood area. We were on a radio. There's a radio station, Cal State Northridge, KCSN. So it was almost like a little local Grand Ole Opry, and that we were doing a show live at the club and going over to radio at the same time and stuff. But we did it there because the club had that deal with the radio station. But I left after a few months only because it was an older person's club and it was pretty rednecky, and they didn't get what we were doing at all. I mean, we had a lot of young people. It was mostly a young crowd. and we had kids with mohawks, pink and green and yellow mohawks, and punk rockers mixed with the rockabilly people, mixed in with a 65-year-old guy with a cowboy boots. And stuff. So it was all people from all walks of life, all ages, but very, very young. But it was a different kind of country. It was a scene that Dwight Yoakam got out of those kind of places and went into the punk rock new wave scene back at that time, and they accepted him. Because the punk, people could look at punk rock, but they like raw stuff. They like stuff with passion and traditional, real hillbilly music, real blues. You mentioned, Jim, you did Down Home Blues last night. I assume you mean real blues, traditional blues.
Like the Mississippi Delta blues, right, for example.
That's right. Lightning Hopkins and Muddy Waters and John Lee Hooker and all. But and then we do bluegrass, the doo-wop, the Cajun and Zydeco music, all the kind of stuff that the big radio stations, the big record companies say there's not enough of a market for. However, so anyway, the world famous Palomino was right around the corner. And
yeah, I remember that club.
Yeah, it was a legendary club, and everybody was there, But going back to 1949. But Billy Thomas was the owner because they really did get it at the national. They were nasty, to our musicians. They were nasty to our crowd and stuff like that. Because there's a different scene. They were older. They like listening to whatever Kenny Rogers kind of country music or something like that.
Palomino's very famous. It's what part of California is then?
That's North Hollywood. So Billy Thomas was the then owner. He was the nephew and son of the original owners, and they had both died. So he taught me into going over there, and he had to, at that time, lease telephone lines back to the radio station. But we were there for 7.5 years. Every week we did it, and I think I did it every week for about the first 14 or 15 years. And then I decided just to go to once a month. But a lot of that I just had to do. The scene was changing, and I wanted to keep it more of an event type of thing, because it got to where, well, we can go there next week. We can go there anytime or something like that. So let's do it once a month. It'll be more of it. So that worked out. And we took it all the way to 25 years and stuff. But yeah, that documentary did real well for us. And it was a real idea of what the show was, the tradition. We call it traditional and alternative forms of American roots music.
Yeah, so, very nice. Mm-hmm. Now, can anyone watch it?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can anyone watch it elsewhere, or do you mainly have the video?
The thing that you have there, I think, is the trailer that's on YouTube or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like an 8.5 minute trailer, and it's out of Lucinda Williams. Who Lucinda is a very highly critical acclaim. She's been nominated for 5 Grammys and won 3 of them. And Dave Alvin.
I love her voice. It's so raw. It's really unique.
Dave Alvin, formerly the Blasters, has been out on his own, and some of the people unfortunately have died. Since Duke Logan is a real blues harmonica player and singer, and Chris Gaffney died, and Dwayne Jarvis, they're all in there, gone now, young, way too young. But it came out in late 2006. So we did it, continued on every week from January of 1988 all the way to January of 2013, which was our 25 years. So I ended it there. After that, I thought 25 years is enough, But
now you've been doing Elvis tributes though.
Well, that started. Those were incredible. We did this for 30 years, something like that. And those were started in 1986 by James Infeld, who's almost like my brother. He's a super wonderful friend. And he's a rockabilly country guy, traditional country and rock. He's huge. I mean, he doesn't have the
I believe that a company I'm working with is working with him right now. So.
Probably, He's been an actor. He did the vocals. He did the singing for Johnny Depp in the movie Cry Baby, the John Waters movie. And he did all the same. Johnny Depp was just lip syncing to James's singing in the movie. It's a very popular movie. And
he did really well too, because he danced really well with it. So as well, he really had the hip action going on.
Yeah, and then the soundtrack album came out that did really well. So he was on all that stuff.
Hey, Ronnie, I just want to let you know that Nancy Pepper says that she loves to hear about history from you, and you're so knowledgeable of country. And I just want to let you know that she's tuned in.
Nancy is a long time good friend of mine, and also James Infeld, who we were talking about. Nancy and Veronica and some other people, Donna Schaefer, Marianne, all these people started something called the JI family, which was James Infeld. And they're all big fans of James's, but they all kind of get together to support each other. If somebody's going through a time of feeling down or depressed, they all get together and encourage each other, and try to help out in any way they can. That's what the JI, and Nancy's a big part of that too. And she's just so supportive. It goes to everybody's gigs and stuff like that. So and same with me. We owe her a lot of people a big debt of thanks for supporting this type of music and stuff like that.
Yeah, if he's the same person, we're working on a Bobby Helms project.
Is that
Silver?
Oh.
Yeah, Silver.
So yeah, people know him by, and we don't even remember his name, but of course by Jingle Bell Rock. Every year Bobby Helms gets played on the radio with Jingle Bell Rock.
Oh, it's Jingle Bell Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bobby Helms, and but he had some other big hits, but he's basically a country singer too. Oh, well, see, it's funny because that song is played every year for a whole month straight at Christmas time, but nobody knows who it is. And it's the same with Around the Christmas Tree. It was Brenda Lee. That's a hugely popular every year.
Oh yeah, everybody knows that's Brenda Lee.
Today they're like under 45. They don't know who she is. But you have to hear that song. They couldn't tell you who the name of the person was.
Exactly. Silver Bells was probably another writer that a friend of mine co-wrote with. So I got the wrong Christmas. Sorry about that.
Well, Bobby Helms,
But,
a big pop hit. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, he was mostly on the country charts, but he had one.
Oh, you know what? It had Angel in the title.
Devil or Angel. I think that's what it was.
It had Angel.
I remember that. And Alan Bush is watching.
Oh, Alan Bush.
He said you're doing a great job. That's
Kathy,
what he said.
A little while ago, how did you get to know Rick Nelson? And Alan, I was looking for a drummer. I was doing a showcase circuit, the punk new was doing rockabilly back in the 80s. I was playing all this kind of clubs, and I needed a drummer, and he applied for it. So he came, and he was a super nice guy. But he had worked for Rick Nelson as a road manager, going to road and stuff with him, and make sure they got all their money and all that kind of stuff. And he played with me probably about five years or so. But yeah, he was real close. So mainly and he would go up the house later on. Every time he got off of work at his day job, he'd go up Rick's house every day. And, especially when they were on the road or something, taking the mail and, whatever, feed the dogs. They had like 4 dogs and stuff like that. So he was up. So it was that way through Alan and lots of musicians I just happened to come across that all worked with Rick Nelson at some point or other. So I just got to know him to some degree. And what happened was, I was doing all these oldies package shows for KRLA, which was a really popular, long-time oldies station in LA, 1110 AM for a long time. They were real Don Steele and Huggy Boy to go way back to the 50s. So they used to get me and my band to do like an opening set of 50s and 60s music. This is back in the 80s. And then we back up all these other artists on these package shows, places I would never have been able to get myself. But they had was Mary Wells, best known for My Guy, of course, but she had a whole lot of other hits. You Beat Me to the Punch, Two Lovers. She was known as the first lady of Motown. And so we did a lot of shows with her. Brenton Wood, who did Ooga Boogum and Just Give Me a Little Sign, Girl, I'm a Baby. We played with him. And various versions of Coasters and Drifters. Sometimes you never knew who was going to be in those groups. They always had that one original, though, to be able to use the name. Coasters, Drifters, the Shirelles, the Penguins, the Moon Glows. We backed up all the Jack Scott, who was a rockabilly guy from the 50s. They bought it from Michigan. So, yeah, we were doing it. So Willie Nelson, not the singer, but Rick Nelson's cousin, was booking Rick at the time. And he called me up. He already knew me from years ago. he called me, hey, can you do this gig opening for Rick in Laughlin, Nevada with the Coaster? I said, well, I want to do it. Let me call Leon from the Coaster. He said, oh, we're booked in Simi Valley for 4 straight nights. Oh, man. So I said, well, I can't tell you. He said, don't worry, I'm going to have some more gigs. Well, it wasn't long that he booked me and the Coasters on a show at the Sacramento Civic Center with Fats Domino and Rick Nelson. And it was 5,000 people there. And, it wasn't long after, Fats, months later, this was in August of 85, months later, Fats was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in its very first year of existence. And so, we got to be on that show, with those two legends, with the Coasters.
What an honor.
What was neat about it, what was even neat about it, maybe the average person won't understand why this was so cool, but I used to say, I got to do the sound check for Rick. To me, that was almost cooler than doing the show for this reason. Rick didn't come for the sound check, but he had the legendary Jordanaires. He brought them back, vocal group, from way back to all of Elvis's stuff, all of Patsy Cline's stuff, Eddie Arnold, Jimmy Reese, all the big country stars and early rock and roll stars. That they to this day are on more recordings than anybody else in the history of recorded music. And but Rick had them on all his early hits, but he brought them back at the last 2 years of his life before his plane crash. And I was at the auditorium, this huge auditorium, and they were doing a sound check. And I was talking to Leon and one of the other coasters out there, and all of a sudden Rick's manager, Greg, he goes, hey, Ronnie, go backstage and get your guitar. So I thought, okay, I want to use my guitar. So I went backstage, dressed and got my guitar and went out. He goes, I got a feeling in Lonesome Town, it's up to you. He said, Rick's not coming to the sound check. He said, we want to do this rehearsal part where the Jordanaires come from the side of the stage and gather around Rick in the middle of the stage. And do you know this? I know him pretty well. I never really do him, but I know him. He said, okay, I'll never forget that, because this legendary group who was on all of Rick's records 20 years before this, doing those classic songs with Rick's band and the legendary Jordanaires, to me, that, at the Sacramento Civic, to me, that was doing the sound check was almost cooler than being on the show, because the nature of those classic all-time hit records with the legendary Jordan, like I said, they've been on more recordings than anybody else in the history of recorded music.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Ronnie, this leads me into something I talked to you about.
We have a commercial break coming in about 60 seconds.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Chuck Tennant of Big Fish Music has the last song that Ricky Nelson ever recorded.
Who's that?
Chuck Tennant of Big Fish Music. Is called Rock and Roll.
Oh, I know Chuck Tennant. Oh, okay. He gave me some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, in the same studio that you're talking about, Baby O Studios.
Yeah,
Jordanaires.
That's
he
right.
owns the Jordanaires only gospel
Rick was working on
song.
a brand new album at that time. I did the scratch vocals for one of the songs. You know what I mean? Rick was great. And so Greg again asked me, will you do a sound check? I mean, the scratch vocals for some practice vocals with the band. Legendary Jimmy Haskell was the one.
The drummer, the one
who was James Impal's younger brother.
Yeah, died in the plane crash.
He turned 23 the day after he died in the plane crash. Yeah.
So if anyone wants to buy it, it's only,
Well, that album is never going to come out. That album that Chuck has some of the songs from is never going to come out, because Rick never put his final vocals on it. And a lot of people would like to see it.
Oh, no, he has the final vocals. I know, because he sent it to me. And we were talking to someone in New York City who was almost going to buy it. But then I don't know what happened. But yeah, I know.
Well, the reason the family won't have it out is because Rick didn't put his final vocals. A lot of the music is done, but it's scratch vocals. I think maybe there's a couple of songs that put the final vocals, not all of them.
Yeah, well, not all of them.
Because I have singing the blues and stuff like that. I have a copy of some of that stuff they did. He didn't even remember some of the words.
Okay. But so this is cool. This is really cool that you even brought up the Jordanaires at the same
time.
Chuck.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time. But yeah, he knows everybody.
He does.
Rock music and country music and blues and whatever you want to. Yeah, he's a.
What am I gonna get? Ooh, cherries. Oh, okay. How about cherry ice cream? With sprinkles? And maybe a baguette. And a French boy.
Bonjour.
Ooh la la, baby. You know what I need? Bath bombs. Bombs away! Gotta have Takis. Oh, I need balls. Okay, I'm gonna need some glue. Oh, and a new charger. I can never find those things. And I gotta get flowers for mommy. And a little something for me. Can I get a robe?
Welcome to the Shack 12-Week Shred. My name is Rock Shabazz, and I'm here to take you through the same program that I made for this guy right here.
This program is without a doubt a huge reason why I was able to get fit and stay fit. If you put in the work and stay consistent, you just might be able to keep up. It's time for you to get to work.
So, are you going to Amy's wedding?
I don't have the money. Yeah, you do. Who are you? I'm you, from the future. And I just got paid.
And I'm Dave. I can get you up to $500 of your future money now.
Up to $500 instantly?
Instantly.
That's amazing. Oh, who's he? Oh, this is Paolo. We met at the reception. Hi. Hola. Hello. Paolo. That's me.
Download Dave and get up to $500 instantly.
So, are you going to...
And we're back. Can you hear me, Sybil?
Yeah,
yeah.
but I'm not there. Emily has to get me.
Yeah, you on there.
Wait, Emily, bring me on, please. This is Kathy. Unless people just want to talk to me and you can hear my voice. I'm used to radio. I've done radio.
Well, at least we can hear you. We just have technical difficulties tonight.
Yeah.
And Tim, would you like to go ahead and ask Ronnie some questions?
Yeah, Miss Ronnie. Man, you sound like you had an amazing career going on. Were there any people that you admired as you were entering your career that you kind of looked up to?
You mean famous people?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, well, all the early rockers and all of the country artists of the 50s and 60s. And then after that, country music started going more pop oriented. So yeah, I was an outcast in my age group with my peers, because like when it got into the psychedelic era, the hippie era, everybody my age was into that whole thing, like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Jimi Hendrix and whatever it was. It was all that kind of hippie, drug music, Woodstock era stuff and stuff. And I was still into Elvis and Chuck Berry and Buddy Holly, and that whole thing, like that. And country, Buck Owens and Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and Hank Williams, that whole thing. Right. And I love doo-wop. I just love. That's why it was such an honor to get to play with the Penguins. Earth Angels, one of the all-time classic songs and stuff. Right. Play with Cleve Duncan. That record was made in 1954. Earth Angel. That's how far. That's the year I was born. But play with them a couple of times to back them up on these package shows and stuff. And I'm thinking, man, here we are doing that song. This is the guy that sang that song in 1954. So it's such a, well, he's since died since then, but But I looked up all these people, and I always revered all of that music from that era.
Right.
I tried to get into the more modern stuff because just to fit in.
Yeah.
I remember sitting down back in those days. You had the turntable, and I tried to learn this guitar solo, "The Stairway to Heaven." The classic of Led Zeppelin. And back in those days, I tried to figure it out a little bit. You had to put the needle down and then get a little bit, and then try to pick it up, and then figure it out. Then you go back and then put it needle down again and try to get the right spot that you left off. I couldn't get it. So I would never say that music is like no talent music or anything like that. That a lot of that heavy metal stuff and the hard rock and stuff does take a lot of talent to play. I just wasn't like Yes was real popular back in those days.
I don't like hard heavy metal.
Now I know you work with a lot of people in your career, as you were telling us. But is there someone that you haven't had the opportunity to work with that you would like to work with?
Oh boy, that's a hard thing.
That's a hard one.
That's alive or dead?
Alive.
Oh, okay, alive.
Well, of course, hard to work with them when they're dead.
How about Willie Nelson? How about?
Yeah, we went to see Willie out in Vegas 2 months ago. He just turned 90 years old. He's still out there playing too.
He's still singing.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say because there's so many people I would like to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he was a lot of fun that I got to play with a couple times. Is Marty Stewart. Yeah, he had a bunch of hits back in the early '90s, Hillbilly Rock and a few others. But now he doesn't get played on a big radio station. But he's keeping traditional country music alive and stuff. That's what I like about him. So I'd like to, but he lives in Nashville, so I would like to be able to spend more time with him because he's.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to have you back on. We're gonna have it last words from everyone and go ahead and say goodnight to the show. We hope you can come back on and visit with us again. And are you on Facebook, or how can people contact you?
Oh, yeah. Just go to Ronnie Mack, RONNIE MACK, my Facebook page. I have like a Western shirt with like a white.
Yeah, and I was going to compliment you on your Western clothes. You wear that very well. So, Tim, you got some last words, and then we'll let Ronnie wrap it up.
Yeah, well, I'd just like to thank you, Mr. Ronnie, for stopping by and spending time with us and giving us all that information. That was some good information. With that being said, I just wish everybody love, peace, and happiness, and let's be safe out there, y'all.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, Ronnie.
Kathy, you got some last words, Kathy?
Well, I want to ask Tim if I could.
Sure.
Do you sing? Do you go out and play in the clubs and sing? As you said something about Down Home Blues at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, well, we went live at the function last night, and that was one of the songs that they played. Now, I do come from a musical family. However, it skipped me. It skipped my generation, and it hit my son's generation. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful, Ronnie.
Keeping the real stuff alive out there.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy, you got some last words?
Well, some of the people you've had include, Dwight Yoakam on your barn dance, Rosie Flores, and Wanda Jackson, Johnny Rivers, Lee Rocker, Big Sandy, and Barry Holdship.
Wow.
So,
yeah, but that's actually what the names really are, a combination of the barn dance and the Elvis birthday bash. The Elvis birthday bash, we used to do it at the House of Blues. We get 1,000 people and $20 a head, and we'd always donate the money to like the LA Mission or like a homeless cause or child abuse or something like that. And we have like about 45 acts on every show, and we'd have to get everybody's songs to do 2 Elvis songs apiece, and we'd have to get everybody's songs in advance, so double up on the same song and stuff like that. But yeah, all those names, the great Johnny Rivers, Secret Agent Man and stuff going back.
Well, we're wrapping up the show. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's going to go off any moment. So, Ronnie, we need to have you back. Ronnie, I love your music. I love it. I love that Rock and Roll is Back song. And it's available on Spotify, everyone. So look up Ronnie Mack on Spotify.
Well, we sure will. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in. So we're going to say good night. And Ronnie, you're going to have to come right back in the studio soon. We'll let Kathy Kathy
Thank all
Bookie
four of
again.
you for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. You've been very, very sweet people. Thank you.
So
Thank
wish
you.
everybody a happy, wonderful weekend coming up, and good night.